And then, oh, maybe. I don't know. Hey! Huh? This almost looks like it's working. Okay, there is a delay, and there is no audio. Why is there no audio? Because I have it muted. Okay, there is a delay. Oh, it's not bad. Okay, how do I link this? I don't know. Oh, no. To your channel. Hey! To your channel. Hey! To your channel. Hey! Okay. To your channel. Oh god. Hey! We gotta mute that. That's just gonna get worse. So if we pull this over here. Okay, so I can have a screen over here and over here. I have no idea how any of this works. There. Well, it says there are 2 people watching now, so you might be here. I don't know. Okay, so, how do I know if this is okay? This should just be showing this screen. So the first thing I would do is I would open with GitHub repository or GitHub desktop. That's gonna do its thing. It pops in off screen. I can't show you. Oh no, yes I can. Aha. Okay, so this will open up. It's gonna make a spot. I have mine just in documents and GitHub, and the name. So if I click clone, it's gonna do some things and it's gonna clone it. And when I know, like, you can click this as many times as you want. That just refreshes to make sure you're where you're supposed to be. And then message me on Discord if something is confusing, because I don't know what's confusing and what's not. So the first thing then I'll do is I'm going to click Show in Explorer. And that's going to, okay, so I don't need that. So then I have this. So this is all you really need, along with your source. And for a source, oh, it doesn't look good on this one. Okay. So if you had this on a second monitor, and I don't know how to stream 2 monitors at once, you can have like this little side tab thingy. So I've sent you this URL before, and this URL is fantastic because this is the Hummingbird one. So it'll have all of this stuff, but I need to make sure that the configuration of files and stuff in here matches this. So to start, I want to get my board set up because right now, your repo is basically empty. There's some things you'll have to change, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to boards, then shields, and there's nothing here. So I'm going to go and make a new file, and I'm going to call this is the name of your shield. We're just going to call it what you call the repo thingy. You can literally name this whatever you want. I don't think that there's any issues there. Then I'm going to look over here in the first, I always go top to bottom so I don't like lose where I'm at. So I'll go to the kconfig and I will highlight that, control copy. I'll go back to the shields and the name of that, and I will go to new, and I will do just a text document. Then I'm going to control A so that I highlight this. I'm pointing at the screen, like that's gonna help you. The .txt, and then I'm just gonna control V, and I press enter. And then Windows is like, hey, you're changing the extension, and I just tell it I'm fine with that. So what did that do? That made me a kconfig defconfig file, and that file is what you need from here. So, but what you'll see is if I open this, and it's going to open it in Visual Studio, because I use Visual Studio for my text editing, there's nothing in here. And because there's nothing in here, I need to put content in here. So I literally just copy, paste. And then you're going to review your code. So what do I see here? Well, I see an if statement, and then I see this shield hummingbird. This won't work. So what you need to do is anywhere you see hummingbird, you're going to change it to this name. So I'm actually going to rename this. I don't know if numbers work. I'm just going to call this MacroPad. Because MacroPad's nice and easy, and you don't have to worry about like your name scheme matching someone else's. This is your content. So I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to paste it. But I see something wrong. It's not in caps, so I have to type it in. Then I see this, and I can tell you what this code snippet does. This is what sets the name of the Bluetooth broadcast file. So I'm just going to call this MacroPad. Oop. Right. Then I save it, and if you're using WordPad, you can do the same thing. Like, it doesn't matter what you're using to edit the files. So I have this one, and this one looks good. So this file now, this kconfig, is done. So we'll move on to the next one. And the next one is kconfig.shield. So again, we just go new, text document, Control A to make sure I select the .txt, Control V, paste, and then rename. Then I reopen it. It pops up in Visual Studio. We go here, we select this, and we paste it. And anytime we paste things, we need to review whatever's in it. So when I look at this, I see it's config shield hummingbird. So I know this won't work. So if I do that, and then we do here, I might want the capital. I think it probably wants a capital. So then we just save. So you do that for all of the stuff. You'll get down to, I think, this file here. And this file is one of the more important ones where you'll do like this configuration. And literally, this is the matrix configuration. So it's like if I was looking at, let's see, I'm gonna pull this up. How do I make this big? Great, I can, okay, I can do that. So this is a Corn keyboard, and if I was making the matrix configuration with the RC, I would be starting at always the left corner as if you're viewing it. So this would be that first, the first line, which would be RC 0-0. Although technically you could do it whatever you want, but the first RC code snippet is talking about this, and then you always worked left to right, and then as you add columns. So we'll shrink this back down, and then here. So again, it would go like RC 0-0, 0 or 1-0, and so on and so forth. And the RC is actually, funny enough, I didn't even realize this, but at least maybe the way I've been labeling it. No, this is the way they labeled it. Funny. So to me, the first number should be row and then column. But when you look at the numbering scheme, it's row, or the first numbers. I don't know. That one's a little weird. I don't know why the hummingbird's set up that way. But that's how you set up your matrix, though. So if down here I set GPIO pin, okay, well, if it's Japanese matrix is I guess Japanese matrix is generally 2 diodes, though. I haven't looked at how it's set up. Suffice it to say, you just set this up to match the way you want it to match. And then down here, you can set your GPIO pins. And so this is built on the XAIO, but you don't have to use these XAIO_D pins. You can use whatever pins you want. I don't see anything special specifying a shift register. I'm not sure. I guess it's possible. The biggest hurdle I think that you're going to have is it this? Yeah. So this file here is your this is your physical layout. I haven't had a great time setting up physical layouts. They have a whole bunch of content in here, and there are even some tools that sort of explain how you make this. Or, well, I should say there are tools that make this, and you can make it by feeding one program your overlay file, so this stuff, and then it'll give you a JSON file, and with that JSON file you can feed that into another website, and it'll give you the physical layout stuff that it wants, like this stuff. I think that this is the one program that's somewhere in all of this is taking a KLE file format, so the KLE JSON, and you can make it, I guess, in KLE, which would be keyboard layout editor, or again, you can do what I traditionally do, which was to take the overlay, or in my case, it's always the DTSI, but to feed it this stuff, I just feed it the whole file and then go from there. Suffice it to say, once you get all of these files added into here and set up correctly, then you're going to do a couple more things. So we would go back to here, and I would look at my build.yaml, and here's some things. So you'll want to change the shield name to match MacroPad, or whatever you label that file or that folder within shields, because that's what it is you're telling GitHub, when it does its compilation, to look for a shield, i.e. a folder named whatever is here. So just set that accordingly. And then is there anything in config? So in West, if you wanted like a trackball, you could point it towards Jeff Bad's or URob's PMW, what is it, the 3610. And there's like ZMK has their guide will show you how to do like pointing and stuff like that. That's not too hard. Key map is here, and I think it's here so that you can use the Nick Costellas this thing, and like you can plug it into your GitHub source and then tell it what repos you want to add in, or like add and remove repos, and go from there, and then do the key editing that way. And then config, yeah, there's nothing in config. So if you wanted to turn on some features on ZMK, like if you're doing RGB on the XAIO, you need to turn off specific things. So let's see. Let me pull up one of my repos and we will look. Config. I might not have it here though. Yeah, so it needs... where is it? It needs this. So GitHub will fail to compile a ZMK board built for the XAIO if you have RGB enabled, unless you have this. If you have this config ZMK RGB underglow external power. So basically ZMK wants a GPIO pin that it can toggle to turn on and off the power connection. So generally it's a pin that goes to a MOSFET. But because the XAIO doesn't have that, but the nice Nano does, and ZMK has been primarily built to function basically like off of the nice Nano, it has some issues. So this will solve that. But it's also where you can throw things like you can turn on RGB and let's see, if I look at another one of these, you don't have to put them there though. You can put them, what is it? Is it this one? Yeah. So another place where you can put configuration stuff is here. So under the kconfig.defconfig. So you can do like ZMK pointing or ZMK sleep. And you can specify if it's on the left and right, or if it's on just the left. So within this if statement, if I had ZMK sleep here, then the left would behave like it has ZMK sleep enabled, but the right wouldn't. But none of that really matters for your purposes. The big thing was the copy files, copy the contents, edit the contents so it matches what you need, and then when you're all done, you will open up GitHub repo, or GitHub desktop, and it's going to show you changes. And it'll show, here it's showing me I've added 3 files to my fork of your repo. Then if I want to commit these, right now I don't have access to your fork, so I can't commit them. But I could make my own. I didn't actually, I guess, okay, hold on. Terminology is a pain. I didn't fork your repo, I cloned it. So if I would have forked your repo, that would have made, under my GitHub account, a copy of your repo. Then I would clone it to my desktop. And cloning is basically just copying the contents to your desktop, to your local machine, so that you can edit it, do local compiling, or do web compiling when you push everything back. Either way, basically I would just type in something here describing what the commit is about, and then you click this, and then up here this button will change, and you can click that button, and then it'll push all that content to GitHub. So when you open up github.com/your account name/your repo, it'll have all the changes, including all the added files, all there. Then you can set up the actions panel. So my actions panel is enabled, but every time I compile a firmware, I do something, whether it's changing it in a key map editor, or it's changing a file here, or pushing, it will trigger a workflow and actions, and that will build, i.e. compile, a firmware. So then I can go like here, and I would be able to download the firmware. And then that's literally the stuff that you put on the XAIO, and then the keyboard should work. It's also where you'll run into the majority of your errors. So you'll get, well, apparently I've been doing really well because I don't have a whole lot of failures. Wow. Okay, yeah, you'll get failures, so it'll error out, and then you can like browse through here and figure out where it failed. It'll tell you where it failed, and if you like meticulously read through some of this, you can figure out what went wrong. Like here, I think it's a parse error undefined node label for trackball peripheral split. So I probably had something labeled wrong. So hopefully, does this help? You haven't messaged me much, so I don't know if any of this has helped, but I'm hoping it has. You got any questions? Okay. Try it. I know you're going to be like editing files and be like, but what do I do here? So that's why I streamed it. I think when I end the stream, it should just save the video as a stream on my YouTube channel. But I don't know because I've been really lazy about setting up all this streaming stuff. So I kind of just pressed play or start with the stuff that I had already set up and hope that it would work. I do talk a little fast too. I'm sorry about that. So basically, yeah, go through, watch through, try and sort of follow along. I go real fast. I'm sorry. ADHD brain means I have a hard time presenting to people. But I think you'll be able to sort of figure it out from there. And this should, Hummingbird should have, this should have all the files you need right here. Like, there shouldn't be anything that you really need to change. Unless you're doing, like, RGB, and then just message me and I'll walk you through how to fix some of the RGB stuff. Because the RGB stuff is just a little more complicated. But if you're not using RGB, you shouldn't care. And I will say, even though the ZMK documents are really complicated, they do have the answers. It's just a question of your coding experience and your reading comprehension passing the dice roll check to see if you're gonna succeed or fail terribly. But like the contents is in there. It's just, as I say, trying to figure it out. Like, the last time I set up a ZMK Studio board, I remember spending like 15 minutes clicking through links trying to find the damn websites that will like take the JSON to make me the physical layout file, because I don't want to try and do it manually myself. But it's in there somewhere. It's just really hard to find. Yeah. Well, and like, I know a lot of people. I think so. It might not, when Windows originally launched, it would give you the file extension name, but I don't know if it does automatically. So like, I think you can go in File Explorer. You can go View, Options, Change File and Search Options, and then yeah, in View, I think it's here. Hide. Yeah, so you would want to uncheck this probably. There are, like, you need to be able to see the file extension because you need to be able to change the file extension. So, like, to me, I've got Windows set up that way. And I don't even remember how to change that anymore because it's like it's inherited every time I do a reformat. But if you don't know how to turn on file extensions and file extensions turn on or are turned off, then it can be a real crapshoot. Oh gosh, there's 3 people viewing this now. Hello, other person. I am attempting to do a very small little walkthrough on how to do ZMK configuration stuff. Either way, I think this covers everything. I've got to go move stuff because that's what I'm doing. I'm moving stuff upstairs to set up my pick and place assembly line. I think this covers everything you need. If not, just toss me messages. I'm happy to help in any way I can. I'm just not always the fastest to reply. I'm glad to see my streaming stuff works, even though I have no idea what I'm doing with it. And I'll talk to you later, man. Have a good evening. Bye. I have no idea how to turn this off, though. Okay, wait. I think it's real easy. So, there's a record button, though. Uh-oh. No. Okay, so if I'm going to press the go offline button, so this will turn off.